Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Stern AG. And if you were thinking about your personal finances, if you want to start planning for your retirement, or if you just want to speak to someone to see if your current retirement plan is indeed the best possible plan for you, I want you to call my friends at Stern AG right here in Knoxville. So many national companies, this is a company that handles billions upon billions of dollars. The difference is they use their ears. That is their main tool. Instead of call centers and everything else that the big guys do, call the folks at Stern AG Knoxville. And you're going to talk to an East Tennessean face-to-face, somebody trained to help you secure your financial future. Stern AG. All right. Will Tennessee's freshman class have a bigger impact on offense or on defense this year?
Defense. I think it's defense. You've got 4 to 6 players on defense in the secondary that are freshmen that could end up playing at some point. There are 3 different linebackers that could play. Maybe one of them starts. Maybe Dylan Bates starts at linebacker. There are 4 or 5 defensive linemen that are going to play. I don't know if all 5 or 4 or 5 will play, but several of them will play and play a lot. So I think it's going to be defense just by the sheer numbers of it.
Okay.
I want to say it's offense because I think of
Wrong.
the quality of players that you've got. I think you're going to have more on defense, but I think the offensive guys.
Pink Cat Award for being the loner.
I'm not the loner yet.
Well, I anticipate loneness.
I think the offensive guys, though, the skill guys that you got on offense will have a bigger impact of a positive. I do think you'll play more on defense. I just don't know how much of a difference they will make. So,
Well, you got Hurd, you got Malone, 2
Right.
of them that'll make a huge impact on offense.
and those are the 2.
Yeah. Guys, offense or defense?
I'm going to lean towards defense. And the player I'm really interested in seeing, Jimmy mentions his name, Dylan Bates. I think he could really be a big plus for a defense that needs help. But I can see what Bob's saying. Is Jalen Hurd a 1,000-yard rusher? If so, then that's a pretty big impact in terms of being able to score, is what I'm looking at. So I can see how you would say offense.
Okay. Offense or defense?
I'm agreeing with Bob.
Well, okay, no Pink Cat. There's no loner.
You maybe Jalen Hurd, maybe Josh Malone. Nobody's mentioned Coleman Thomas. I mean, he's going to be starting an opening game. Yeah. Plus, and here's the point I was going to make, and what's the offense going to look like earlier. Right. I think the tight ends are going to be big, and I think they've got 2, Helm and Wolf. They've got really 2 good young tight ends that are going to get used. So I think when you throw in Malone, Hurd, Coleman Thomas starting, and those tight ends, I'm voting for offense. I'm with Bob.
Okay, all right, very good. Which is the bigger issue, replacing Michael Pilardi, the punter, or Michael Pilardi, the kicker?
Kicker.
I mean, go back to the game we've mentioned earlier, the South Carolina game, and the pressure on that field goal, and that was your signature win of that whole season. No. To me, it's like you're replacing 3 starters in that one position. Mm-hmm. And you could have made a case last year Michael Pilardi was your MVP, and the kicker, I think, is going to be who is going to do that?
Tell you what, reach down there and grab that pink hat. I'll say punter. And here's the reason I'm going to go punter. If Tennessee is improved enough to keep a lot of these games close, then the kicker is going to be the most important part. But I think Tennessee is going to need field position more than they're going to need a pressure kick at the end of the game for 3 points.
Well, not just a pressure kick. I mean, even kickoffs and
extra
points and field goals. Not just the pressure.
See, I don't envision a lot of kickoffs or a lot of extra points. Going back to the other things we talked about.
But you can find a lot of punters.
Well, here's the thing. Well, I don't know. We've been talking about punting issues for a while. I mean, that finally got solidified last year. I think that kicker is the right answer, but I wouldn't dismiss punter as it seems we did. It was just kind of kicker. Yeah. Well, the punter thing is going to be kind of big too, because I think this team's probably going to be punting a lot.
And the kicker's doing 2 jobs. The punter's doing 1.
Okay.
Between kickoffs, field goals, extra. I mean, to me, that's 2 jobs.
Right.
I think field position is important, but I think 3 points is more important.
And I think you're going to have a lot of drives where maybe you get in field goal position, but with that young offensive line, you can't punch it in on get that 3rd and 1 to get in there, so you're going to end up settling for 3 points.
I think it's both.
But you guys are more positive than I am. I'm not sitting there again for 3 points. Even make that big of a difference.
But field position will.
All right. How big of a role will coaching them up have on this season? In other words, you look at the talent, you look at the schedule. how much can coaching really impact this team's final record? We'll talk about that. Come on back on the Sports Source.